Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more X-Plane 11. Alright, and we are back here at Siriwo Airstrip in Papua. That's Whiskey Tango 17. And tonight we are still going to be using the Evektor EV55, and it looks like we've got to transport some people to the main town of Nabire, I think it's called. As you can see, this gentleman kind of fell over here. So this is the second leg of our little Papua New Guinea tour here, and I promised you in the last episode that we would take a look at the passenger configuration of the Evektor E55 Outback. This is it. This is what it looks like. It looks really good in VR. You really get that whole depth perception. You can see where some of the textures are not perfect, for example, at the bottom of the chairs. But other than that, everything else looks fine. And it looks like our gentleman is still on the ground there, so hopefully they'll be piling him in. We're also going to take Grandma down to Nabire as well, and a few other select folks from this little village in the hills here. But before we can do anything else, we're probably going to need to get everything started up. So let's go ahead and flick our main switch and our left battery. We will get the bus tie done, and we'll put some lights on. We'll try to do everything in order this time. So nav lights, and we're going to be starting up soon, so I'll hold off on the beacons for now. Alright, can I reach our transponder? Yes, there we go. Okay, so we are set to standby. Just to forewarn you, I'm still having that issue where my mouse cursor inside the VR is massive. So I've been using this little helmet mounted blue dot here to help me get things done. But it's not good on everything in the cockpit. So there are some things that I still have to use the mouse. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to pull up our flight plan so you can see. We only have 2 stops today, and this leg of this video is only going to take into consideration one of those stops. So first we're going to Nabire, which is Whiskey Alpha Bravo India, and then even though it says we're going to Whiskey Alpha Sierra Whiskey, that is not the case. We're actually going to a little airstrip on the beach, but I won't go into that just yet because that will be the next episode. Instead, let me see if I can change this thing from VLOC to GPS. That's the only bad thing about using a helmet mounted thing. Okay, there we go, we got it. Yeah, your head moves just so much, and I know I've mentioned that before in other videos. There's really not much I can do about it. There's no way to smooth this out, so we just got to kind of live with it. Alright, electric is on, so let's go ahead and close our doors. I'm pretty sure everyone is currently loaded up. Whoa! That thing always smacks me in the virtual forehead there. And here comes Big Giant Mouse. So we'll close our passenger doors in the back. We'll close our luggage compartment in the front. And I might as well just close my door here. Okay, good deal. Click to dismiss. There we go. Alright, now we are ready to start up. And I should be able to use my little blue dot in the center of my vision here. Alright. I think now would be a great time to turn that beacon on since we will be starting up momentarily. So let me see. I believe the first thing we need to do is get our condition levers and our mixture lever up. So I'm going to put our condition lever to low RPM, that's low prop pitch basically, and we'll put the mixture to ground idle, which should be perfect for this startup. Alright, so fuel pump. We'll go ahead and turn you on. Igniter, or auto igniter as this aircraft calls it, we'll turn that on as well. This is for the right engine. And then we'll shout clear prop and push the button. Okay, looks like our prop is spinning. Check to make sure everything is rising. Yep, temperatures are going up, RPM's going up. Very good. I would say we've got a good start. I will let go the start trigger now. We'll wait for that to stabilize, and then we'll get started on the left engine. Okay, looks like everything's in the green, so I am fine with that. Alright, let's get our alternator, or generator, excuse me, on. We'll get the fuel pump for the left engine and the ignition for the left engine. There we go. We should be set, so we can shout clear prop and push the button. Very nice. I would imagine there's probably other aircraft coming here to get the rest of that cargo, because I am not hauling cargo today. Nope, it is just not happening. Alright, it looks like everything is coming up slowly but surely. Yep, there we go. Okay, good deal. So both engines are up. Everybody fasten your seatbelts. We are going to be doing a pretty short ride here, probably about a 20-minute flight towards the beach. And let's get our generator for the left side on. Missed it. There we go. Okay, so that is currently on. And now we can set our taxi lights on. There we go. Seat belts and no smoking sign. Alright, so I actually have a reason to use them tonight. This is great. This is really great. Okay. So while we're waiting for everything to get into position, we'll drop our flaps to 1 notch and we will work on our trim. Set it up a little bit, because if you recall in the last episode, coming into this airport, it's a really short airstrip, so we're going to need to clear those coconut trees at the end of the airfield. Alright, let me make sure I got everything else set. Okay, brakes are off. Alright, and let's taxi out to our runway. I use that term loosely, by the way, since there's not much to this place. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to need to turn around to the right here. So I'm going to go down a little bit further to make sure I'm away from all people and cargo. Swing her around. You can see the end of the runway there. We're going to swing out a little bit to the left here. And then just past that traffic cone, we'll make our right-hand turn. You'll remember that traffic cone as the one that Grandma was standing up next to when she almost got chopped to bits in the last episode. Alright, but she's on board, she's safe, and she's looking forward to go downtown so that she can get some shopping done. So there we go. Alright, this is where we need to be, so I'll go ahead and put our parking brakes back on, and we'll start getting the rest of the lights up and running here. First, torpedo heat, left and right. Get our landing lights on, turn off the beacon, turn on the strobe. Please chime in the comments as to what you do when it comes to like both the beacon and the strobe. I've heard conflicting information, and even in real life I've heard conflicting information. Some people say you need to turn it off, some people say you need to keep it on. I don't know. Alright, let's see. Transponder will set you to out. There we go. And I can't really manipulate the autopilot. Normally I try to set up my autopilot ahead of time, but it looks like we're going to need to grab the big old mouse cursor and do it that way. But we'll do that after takeoff. For now I'm going to get our condition levers up. It takes a while for some strange reason for me to get these condition levers up, but there we go. That is where they need to be. And we'll get our mixture up and we'll go. Okay, engine run-up looks good. Let me adjust my seat here real quick. That's my real-life seat. Alright, everything is looking perfect, so you know what it's time for, folks. Brakes down and throttles up. Alright, looking good. Parking brake off, and let's go. Everything's in the red, but that is normal. I just want to get us over stall speed and onto that blue line there. There we go. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Alright, not a bad takeoff at all, if I should say so myself. Okay, so we are going to need to swing ourselves back around because we're heading in the opposite direction to where we should be. But I kind of wanted to overfly Siriwo airstrip before we got on our way. That'll also give us the opportunity to get enough altitude to get over these hills between us and Nabire. So I'm going to bring us up to a cruise of about 7,500 feet, where we'll activate the autopilot and basically get going to where we need to go. But yeah, the morning continues. It looks like we're starting to get a little bit of cumulus clouds building up here, so I would not be too surprised if by afternoon we've got some thunder showers. And the humidity is definitely kicking up a notch, not to mention we've started to have some thermals here and there. So don't be too surprised if this flight is a little bit bumpier than the last one. And probably as we go through the day, that being the series of flights, it might get really bumpy before the end. Okay, so we've reached our cruise altitude, not exactly 7,500, but I figured 7,000 is probably good enough. And I'm pulling everything back. If you recall, on the last episode I said that our RPM should be around 1950 when we're in cruise, so I'm pulling the condition levers back now. I've already engaged our nav and our altitude hold, so we're pretty much on course, on time, and on target. Alright, there we go. This could probably come back a little bit more. Right now it's at 1970. Which is funny because 1970 is the year I was born. As a matter of fact, I just celebrated my birthday. You will be watching this probably about 2 days after I celebrated my 47th birthday. So yay! Alright, fuel pump. We don't need you anymore. We'll turn you off. We'll save you for the landing. Landing lights and taxi lights. We also don't need you on, so we'll turn you off as well. Okay, and I don't know if you can see, but yes, we are starting to get a little bit of cloud buildup here and there, and you can see they're just kind of nestled in the mountains. Unfortunately, where we're going is considered more of the flatland, so we won't get to see the dramatic clouds hiding in the hills thing. But as we make our way inland, hopefully the weather will cooperate with us and we'll be able to see that sort of thing happening. Directly up ahead is going to be the ocean. I want to say it might be the Indian Ocean, but correct me if I'm wrong. It could just be the Pacific Ocean. But yeah, we'll be seeing that a little bit later. And here's our cabin view again. I gotta say, I really do like how they modeled this cabin. I like the cargo version as well, and actually I kind of prefer the cargo version to the passenger version. I think the passenger version would be over the top if it actually had people modeled in there that you could drop in and out, the same way you can with Nimbus Simulations, Shrike, Aero Commander 500. Alright, but as you can see, we've got about 24 nautical miles to go, so roughly about 7 minutes till we get to our destination. Once we reach top of descent, I think what I will do is just take it off autopilot and bring her down manually. Kind of the same way that I did on the last flight. Either way, should be good. So yeah, that was my advice for the developers. One of the things that you might want to do in future is perhaps add extra people models for the passenger variant. It would be even greater if we could, you know, pop them in and pop them out depending on how much weight we have in the aircraft. But I know that's going to be a lot of work, so I really don't expect them to, you know, get stuff like that done in a timely fashion, so to speak. But you never know. Stuff to shoot for. I mean, I've seen some really good add-ons, and I have to say some of the features that this particular aircraft comes with, I think are really worth it. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to pick up the EV55 Outback, do yourself a favor, head over to the link below in the video description. Go get it. It is payware, but it is worth it. And I don't think I paid that much for it either. Alright, I'm just checking our fuel flow, oil temp, everything's in the green with the perception of our temps there. I could probably pull the throttle back and that will lower it down. But as long as it's yellow and not red, I'm not too worried about it. We'll be fine. We'll be just fine. Okay, so we should be there probably in about the next 5 or so minutes. And actually, wait a minute, what's going on here? Something's not right. Why are we below 7,000 feet? I know I set this thing for about 7,100. Something's not right with the trimmer here. Okay, there we go. We're back up to 7,000. Not sure what caused that there, folks. I don't know if that is a glitch in the system, or if there's something wrong with the aircraft, or maybe it's one of those failures that X-Plane likes to throw at you every now and then, which I could have sworn I always have them off. Alright, you know what? I think we're pretty much where we need to be for top of descent anyway, so I might just go ahead and take it off of autopilot now, because I don't know if you can see the ocean is right out there, and our destination is going to be directly ahead too. Yeah, I think this would be a good time for top of descent, so let me do this. We're going to go ahead and take it off of autopilot and check out our trim. Look how low that is. Wow. Okay. That's odd. That is very odd. You see where our trim was set. Our trim has our nose pointing down. And yet, look at the vertical speed. It says we're going up. Something's not right here. Something is definitely not right. Okay, but be that as it may, I've got us on manual control right now, so I'm going to continue to keep us on manual control. I will probably pull us back in power a little bit and get us down. We really don't have too far to go, but there is going to be a mountain ahead of us, so I can only go down so much, and I want to say probably about 3,000–4,000 feet would be my hard deck. And then once we get past that mountain, we can bring it down the rest of the way, since this airport is pretty much at sea level. Okay, but let's see if we can get a nice decent descent here. We're at 1,000 feet per minute, so between 1,000 and 1,500 should be fine. And I'll keep an eye on these gauges here. Okay, our descent seems to be going pretty steadily here, and as I'm sure you can see, we've got some cumulus clouds up ahead. Now, that is probably one of the few things that I have to complain about in VR. I've got a pretty beefy computer, however, with that being said, I have noticed that whenever I've got a lot of the default X-Plane clouds in here, I lose a lot of FPS. I don't know if you notice, slowly but surely these clouds are stuttering their way across the screen here. Not a huge fan of that, but I know why it's happening. There's a lot of resources currently being used to generate the view that's being put on the monitor, which is what OBS is snagging right now to record the final video for you all. And then of course it's also rendering twice, think about it, left eye and right eye inside the Oculus Rift. So yeah, that's a lot of resources going all at once, and especially for something like clouds, which are particle objects, it definitely tends to hit your FPS kind of hard. But I think what I may do, since I am already a proud owner of both SkyMax Pro and X-Enviro, I might have them both duke it out on the next couple of episodes here to see which one of the two will give me better FPS while in the Oculus Rift. I already know that outside of the Oculus Rift, if I were just recording this directly from X-Plane on a 2D monitor, I wouldn't have an issue. My frame rates would be like in the 40s and the 50s. But because of the fact that we're running VR, that's a massive hit. Alright, but I'm not going to cry over spilt beer. Instead, I'm going to see if we can get ourselves below this cloud deck here. And once we get out the other side, it should be considerably better, because the only thing that we will need to render will be the ground below us and the underside of the clouds, which for some strange reason, the underside of the clouds seems to render with more FPS than the upper side of the clouds. I don't know why that is. I can't figure that out, but it's one of those things that maybe only Austin Meyer knows, and he's not about to start watching my videos and then commenting and explain it all to me. Aside from which, I'm not sure I want a physics lesson. Okay, descent is definitely stable. As you can see, we are just below the cloud deck right now, and we are still heading directly for the airport. Now you can see the ocean a little bit better, stretching off in that direction and in that direction. Incidentally, the airstrip on the beach that we're going to be going to in the next episode is off to the left. Let me see how far out we are. Less than 10 miles. Okay. So here is the plan of attack. We need to come in on a northbound runway, which is going to be in the same direction basically that we're flying. So what I'm going to do, since we've got this hill in front of us here, we'll swing out to the left, we'll go over the lower parts of the hill, and then we'll just come straight in. So this will be kind of like an extended base leg for us here. Alright, and let me just make sure everything is looking good engine-wise. Yeah, looking fine. Whoa, you see that? Well, I feel it, but I'm inside the Oculus Rift. We just hit a thermal there, so one of our wings just went up. Alright, we can compensate for that, though. I'm going to slow us down a little bit as well, because we're kind of pushing it right now. You'll notice on my airspeed indicator, we're getting kind of close to 180 knots. As far as the gear goes, we want to make sure we are below 160 for that. There's a little panel on the left side. I'll zoom into it in a minute here. Let's just check everything else. Okay. And I'm going to leave our prop pitch where it is for now. I'll pull it back up to full once we get a little bit closer to the airport, because we need full power, of course, once we land in order for us to activate the prop reversers. I tried activating the prop reversers with the prop pitch down, and it wasn't all that successful, let's just say. You won't be seeing that landing. Not this time around. Maybe I'll do like an outtakes video with all of my horrible landings and so on. Okay, yes, we are definitely on target. I should probably zoom this in somewhat. There we go. Okay. Oh, the other thing that I should mention about the next airport that we're going to, it is definitely not on the GPS. So finding it is going to be visual. And that is going to make for a fun trip, especially if these clouds keep creeping up here. Last thing I want to do is land on the beach in the rain. But we should be good for coming into Nabire here. I'm thinking that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. Could be Nabire. I really don't know. And unfortunately, I didn't do any research for this one. So you might say flying by the seat of my pants. Funny that. Okay, but there's the hill that we were looking for. So yes, we are going to need to go to the left. I'm thinking I'll push it forward just a touch more. You might be able to see the airport off in the distance. It's an asphalt runway, so it'll show up as a black line if you can see it at all. I can see it, but then, like I said, I'm inside the Oculus Rift, so I've got a slightly better view than what you're looking at on the screen right now. Alright, I'm thinking this should be good. Okay, so you see that little flat patch there in between the two hills? This is where we're going to make our base leg turn. Alright, so I want it nice and easy. We're still dropping a lot of altitude, but that is fine. As long as I don't go below about 1500, then we should be good to go. Shallow us up a bit here. Okay, we definitely need to drop speed though, because I would like to have our landing gear down on this base leg, so that way I can just simply concentrate on getting us down on the runway in a timely fashion, because I'm sure that Grandma wants to go shopping and passed out dude probably needs a hospital. But yes, this is the little placard I was telling you about. You'll see the gear 160, flaps 1, 140, and flaps 2, 108. Those are our limitation speeds. We're already below 160 right now, so we can probably get ready to drop the gear. I'm going to get our lights on too while I'm at it, both the taxi and the landing lights. And our fuel pumps. We'll turn you back on. It's about time for you again. Why can't I reach that one? There we go. Alrighty folks, buckle up. We are coming into Nabire. Okay, we are in landing configuration now, and we definitely have a bit of a crosswind, so you might notice that I'm holding the yoke a little bit to the left here. Still seem to be having problems with this trimmer, though. I don't know what's going on with this pitch trim. It's not reflecting what it should properly. Because you see what it says right now. It says that we're 1,500 feet per minute down. Meanwhile, I've got the trim pretty much even. You know, it's a flat trim. I'm even trimming it up a little bit, and it still says we're going down. Now, of course, that may have something to do with the loss of speed that we'll have, because you see that we're pretty close to our approach speed, but still, something doesn't feel right with this aircraft this time around. So I'm going to have to check things out and make sure everything is functioning properly for the next run. Or we could alternately just use a different aircraft. Either way, I'm sure you can see the runway off to the right, so now it is time for us to turn to finals. So we're going to make it nice and easy here. We're just below 1,500 feet above sea level, and there appears to be a little bit of a notch in the hill. Alrighty folks, buckle up, and we're going to go ahead and bring it home. Now you can always tell whenever we're reaching one of these Susi airports, because those coconut trees are all over the place. One thing that I neglected to mention in the last episode, if you do download the Susi Air package for Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, you're going to need the additional libraries. So you may want to look for the master library that Tom Knudsen put up. You may also need a few other scenery library objects that aren't currently included in that package. Okay, folks, we are on final, or I guess we're kind of close to short final here. Everything is looking pretty decent. I gotta have our nose up pretty considerably in order for our pitch to be just correct, because like I said, I have no idea what the heck is going on with my pitch trimmers in this aircraft right now. Or even an autopilot, there appears to be some kind of an issue. But we'll do that behind the scenes after we're done with this video here, and we'll figure it all out. One thing that I have noticed about this airport that we're coming into, you see those skyscrapers off in the distance? It comes as part of this airport. However, there's no city blocks around it. And of course, I don't know of a good way to add those city blocks in there. I thought about using W2XP, but when I went to the site, they don't have anything for Papua New Guinea. There's like no information in there. I suppose I could probably try using OSM data, but I'm not very well versed on a lot of that kind of stuff, so I'll have to do some more research, and it probably wouldn't even be worth it considering the fact that I don't intend on flying here in Papua all the time. So it might just be something we have to live with. But the skyscrapers look good though, I'll give them that. Alright, here we go. We should be able to float right over these palm trees, and luckily we've got a really long runway in order to come in on, so I am not too worried about this landing. I think we should be able to plonk her down quite nicely. Those trees are a little bit taller than I expected, but we did clear them. Okay, let's bring this baby in. Alright, I'm going to begin my flare now. Try to get it as flat as possible. Bingo. Alright, that was perfect. That was an awesome landing. Okay, thrust reverser time, or prop reverser. I'm so used to jets calling it a thrust reverser. Okay, even though we're a little bit to the right of center line here, I think we should be able to slow down and stop in time. Not in time for that turn off, though. We'll have to take the next one. Okay, come on, baby. Slow down, slow down. Okay, this is where I'll need the brakes. Go ahead and get that on. Alright, why can't I get the thrust reversers off? Uh-oh. Alright, when in doubt, we'll hit the parking brakes. And at least we made our turn off. Whew! Welcome, folks, to Nabire Airport, or Whiskey Alpha Bravo, India. Alright, landing lights off, and we will keep our taxi lights on as we make our way around. I'm thinking we need to turn to the right and probably pull up to where those two marshallers are standing, so they swing us out this way here. Oh, look at that, we got a Cessna Caravan there, a little cargo hauler. Nice. We are the people hauler today. We'll go back to hauling cargo on the next flight, however. Okay, I think this will be our parking spot right here, so we'll swing her in. Very nice. I kind of wish these marshallers would move their arms. That would be too cool. I know it's asking much for 3D people, but hey, it is what it is. Alright, but here we are, folks. We are here. So I sincerely hope that everyone enjoyed the flight. I know the grandma enjoyed the flight, and they're going to go ahead and get our passed out dude off the plane, as well as his caretaker and all the other people that are stuffed back there. So we will bid adieu to all of our lovely virtual passengers. We'll go ahead and get everything turned off so that way we can call this episode done. So just to remind you, I have been flying around in the Evektor EV55 Outback by Auctus Delineations. This is Payware. You can find it on the xplane.org site in the Payware section. I highly recommend you check it out, in spite of the issues that I've had today, which could very well be user error. I have to say this is one well put together aircraft, so we're going to be seeing it for at least the next 2 or 3 episodes. And of course, I'm flying around in Indonesia and in Papua New Guinea. as part of the Susi Air package, which is freeware. So I also recommend that you grab that as well. It is definitely worth it if you like bush flying, that is. If you don't like bush flying, then don't even bother getting it. It's just not worth it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Alright, but as we get everything turned off here, I want to thank you as always for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in X-Plane 11.05. And I'll be back with some more Papua New Guinea goodness in the next episode, so feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later. Ciao!